Good evening. This is CTV News for October 4th. I'm Patricia Vallone. Thank you for joining us. Well, a teenager is dead after a shooting in a Waldorf neighborhood. 17-year-old Elijah Cole was found about 8 p.m. in the 11,200 block of Wild Meadow Street. Keisha Butts visited the scene of the murder.
The victim, Cole, was a high school senior, and he passed away shortly last night. Police are still trying to figure out what specifically happened, but they do think that two groups of people got into an altercation at the house right behind me. They say that teenagers come to this house all the time. There was an altercation last night, and Cole was shot. Right after he was shot, he ran to another home, which is right up the block, and police found his body in the driveway. I spoke with the Charles County Sheriff's Office, and they have more details.
Shortly after 8 o'clock last night, officers responded to this area for the sound of multiple gunshots. When they arrived on the scene, there were a number of people outside. Some witnesses said had already fled, others were still on the scene. But what we can gather so far is that there was some kind of a dispute between two groups of people. There was an initial group of people who were standing out in front of the house, and then another group either drove up in a car or walked up. And when they did, there was some kind of a dispute, and then shots were fired. Apparently, people fled, and officers located the victim just a few driveways up, and he had collapsed and was deceased as a result of being shot.
Police are still trying to look for the suspect, and they're still trying to figure out what happened. If you have any information, please call the Charles County Sheriff's Office. For CTV News in Waldorf, I'm Keisha Butts.
And the incident happened at the house at the end of the cul-de-sac on Wild Meadow Street. If you have any information, you're asked to call 1-866-411-TIPS. Meanwhile, police are also investigating a fatal shooting in Lanham last night. About 9:30, officers responded to the 6500 block of Manton Way. There, they found 28-year-old Anthony Freeland of D.C. suffering from gunshot wounds. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Detectives are still investigating, but don't think it was a random crime. A reward of up to $25,000 is being offered for information that leads to an arrest and indictment in this case. Well, the FBI has concluded its investigation on sexual misconduct allegations against Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. All 100 senators can review the new report, but it's unclear if the public will ever see it. The investigation reviews allegations from Christine Blasey Ford and Deborah Ramirez and includes an interview with Mark Judge, Kavanaugh's longtime friend. Meantime, rallies across the nation were staged in a last-ditch effort to prevent Kavanaugh's nomination. This is what it looked like outside of the Supreme Court today, where numerous celebrities were scheduled to participate, including Alicia Keys and Whoopi Goldberg.
The women have to be strong enough to stand up and say, no, we're not going to take this anymore. This is what happened to me, and to tell their stories before they can start healing and hopefully changing those patterns, breaking those cycles for their own children, their own daughters. That's why I'm here.
I'm here because I am a survivor of sexual assault. I came here to tell my story and to go to Senator Collins' office and to speak and to urge her to please vote no on the nomination of Brett Kavanaugh. This is my story, but it's not just my story. It's so many people's. And so I'm here to advocate and to speak and to try to make a difference.
I came to Washington this time from Miami because I am trying to help support women and immigrants and all the people that are going to be disadvantaged when this man, if this man becomes a Supreme Court justice. I'm here to block the nomination, the approval of Judge Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court.
And protesters hope to sway a handful of senators considered swing votes. An initial vote of the full Senate is scheduled for Friday. A final decision could come over the weekend. Well, a federal judge has stopped the Trump administration from ending the Temporary Protective Status, or TPS, for thousands of immigrants. Many people from Sudan, El Salvador, Haiti, Nicaragua, and other countries feared being deported prior to the ruling. Judge Edward Chen said the government must maintain TPS and employment authorizations for the beneficiaries. TPS protects migrants who are in the U.S. from countries that have been hit by war, natural disasters, and other dire conditions.